Good afternoon and welcome to Connecting Caregivers Radio on the Tan Talk Radio Network with me, Linda Burhans, the gal who cares for the caregivers, on the show where you can find help and hope. And as always, my best friend, my co-host, my sidekick, who's like going up and down like in a high chair right now, Lynn Thornley.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for being here today. It's a little fall in the air, which is, we're hoping.
Yeah, not too much.
You have the Canadians coming this week, right?
Hopefully they're bringing it with them. Wednesday was gorgeous.
For one day, though.
Yeah, they said, if you like that weather, enjoy Wednesday. Because we're back to the again.
Yeah.
That's all right. They're better. Hey, they got snow and...
Yeah, I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining. And with us, we have a special guest today. It's Lory Smeltzer who is a certified aging life care professional and owner of And Senior Solutions.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here today. First thing I want to do is give a shout out to our newest listeners. We have Angela in California, Doug in Indiana, Diana in Oregon, and Maria in Astoria.
Welcome.
And I think part of the reason, well, first of all, you know what I always say to you guys, there's always room around the Connected Caregivers table for more people. The cool thing is that you can listen live on AM/FM or on YouTube or on Facebook, and very shortly you'll be hearing us on iTunes and Apple stuff and all the other things. But it's important that you listen to learn information. And the best thing about it is that you have many choices on when you can do it and how you can do it.
And we have Vaughn here today.
Yes, but I think he's a little distracted right now.
Is he ignoring us? Vaughn?
That Vaughn? Yes. Hello, Vaughn.
Hey, how you doing, ladies?
Good. We're doing great. How are you doing today?
I'm all right.
Cool. So there's a couple of things I wanted to talk about today. One thing is, my friend Norm McNamara, who lives in the UK and was diagnosed with Lewy bodies 10 years ago. He writes a lot, expresses himself with this. Yeah. So I've been living with this disease for 15, 20, 25 years now. So I am not unusual in this. This book of poems will take you into the depths of my mind, sometimes not for the faint-hearted, but will tell a true, honest account of what it is like to live with dementia day to day and night to night. It will take you through my night terrors, hallucinations, and heartfelt pleas, sometimes sad, sometimes frightening, but always hopeful norms. So he just came out with his new book.
Oh, you got it?
Yes, it came in, 50 Shades of Dementia.
And doesn't have his photo.
No. Well, yeah, here's a little photo of him on the back.
Oh, nice.
So I just want to read a little something from this today, because I think it's so important that we share this information. So, dementia thoughts within my head. Where do I go within my head? What do you think when you see my tears shed? Are they tears of frustration or from fear? Or of losing all that I hold so dear? They are all of the above and so much more. I can now hear the closing of my life's door. Every day and every night I lose a bit of life's daylight. How long will it take before I say goodbye? Nobody knows, but please don't cry. We have achieved so much together as one, and still won't stop till our job is done. So onwards and upwards is my cry. It's not time just yet to say my goodbyes.
That's beautiful.
Isn't that beautiful? It just touches me. And all the proceeds from this book go to the MP3 Purple Angel campaign to get MP3 players with music for people. Yeah, so that's very wonderful. So go to Amazon. 50 Shades of Dementia.
Takes a while to get
Norm's back. Yeah, because we're in the United States.
Comes from the UK, right?
But it's a really good thing. Two other things I want to talk about this week is two posts that I did on Facebook this week. And one post, I've done it before, is I have these cards that I have had made up. You can see it right here if you're watching on our video, on our visual stuff. And the card says, the person I am with has Alzheimer's or dementia, which makes it difficult for them to find the right words and understand what has been said. Thank you for your patience. These cards can bring dignity to your loved one and make your day a little bit easier. You know, when you go into a restaurant, maybe your loved one's a little fidgety or needs something to eat right away, and maybe the waitress thinks, oh boy, that person's just like a pain in the neck.
Yeah, I'm not going over there.
Yeah. But if you can give that card, you're going to find everything is going to be totally different. They're going to be treated totally different. A woman in one of my support groups took a few, and then she called me a few days later and said, could she have 18 more? And I'm like, yeah. And I left them by my house in an envelope for her, and she came and got them. And when she came to the next support group, she goes, oh my goodness, I got to tell you what happened. So where she lives, her husband's starting to wander, and he's walking in some people's yards and stuff. And when he walks the dog, he's not always cleaning up after the dog. So she just went around and gave one to each neighbor. And they're like, he can walk in our yard. We'll clean up the poo.
Yeah.
Maybe he'd like some coffee.
Completely change of tone,
Right.
right?
Isn't that
it's just-
amazing, eh?
So now
Because
there's a
other-
whole community of people watching watching out for him and being happy to see him. So it's huge. So I put it on Facebook this week, and I said, if anybody wants some of those cards, please let me know. And just a couple here: Virginia, California, Indiana, Alabama, Tennessee, New York, Oregon, Michigan, Georgia, and another one in New York, and then there was one in the UK and one in Canada.
Our faces will be everywhere.
Oh my goodness!
So you get to see a picture of
Yeah,
us.
we're on the other side of the card.
Yeah.
But if anybody else wants any of these cards, just email me at lindaburhans@aol.com and give me your physical mailing address and not your email address, because I'm going to put them in an envelope and I'm going to mail them to you. So if you want some of these cards, I'm more than grateful to be able to send them out to you. Just go to lindaburhans.com, lindaburhans@aol.com. Okay, one more thing before we get into some conversation here.
You're talky today.
I am talky today because there's some stuff we need to talk about.
Okay.
So another thing I put on Facebook this week, which I thought was interesting, I'm just pulling it up on my phone here, is, you know what I say all the time, and this is not exactly for the caregiver, this is for everybody else that listens. It's not a caregiver, not at this moment. So this says, if you know a caregiver and honestly want to help them out, don't say, let me know if there's anything I can do. That puts the burden on the caregiver, and they are already burdened enough. Say, I'd like to come over and spend a couple hours with your loved one so you can take a nap, go shopping, read a book, take a shower, etc., etc. Say, I've made your family a casserole and dessert. What time would be a good time for me to drop it off? Say, I'm heading to the grocery store. Do you need anything? Say, I'm doing some laundry tomorrow. Want me to do a couple of loads for you while I'm at it? Say, would you like me to listen while you have a good cry or rant? Get the idea? And please, whatever you do, don't forget to say, I like to give you a hug. I put this on Facebook, and some of the responses were, oh, yeah, that's wonderful. And some of the responses were like, yeah, sure. Like, I wish. And I just know that's a caregiver that's hurting. And some of the people that said that, I just responded to them privately and said, here's my phone number. And you can give me a call and we can chat a little bit.
Good.
Because caregivers need support.
Yes, they do.
And they don't know how to ask for it. They don't know how to accept it. They think it's just their responsibility. So please do that, guys. When somebody asks if they can help you with something, say, thank you very much. So, Lory, let's talk about what you do, what an aging life care professional manager is. When you started in business, I don't think people have any idea about the kind of services you provide and what you do. And this is what we want our listeners to know, because I think it's a huge asset to the caregiver.
It is a great, the greatest unknown resource out there, unfortunately. The profession of aging life care management has been around actually nationally for over 35 years. It was started by a group of social workers in New York that recognized the need to provide additional support and resources to those that have been discharged from rehab centers, discharged from hospitals, home, maybe had a little Medicare home health care coming in, and then they, of course, discharged the patient from their service. And my background being in social services and case management for over 25 years, and most of that time working with the Bay Care hospital systems doing social work and discharge planning, I saw that happen frequently, to where the person, whether it's a senior or maybe a disabled adult, would come right back into the hospital within a short period of time. And because they would fail at home, it just the support services weren't there, or they were non-compliant, or they were just
Or they just didn't know.
They just didn't know what was out there. They needed somebody to really hold their hands through that and help make sure that they've got the right amount of services in place. So the professional association is the Aging Life Care Association, which is national. There's over 2,000 of us
Wow.
in the nation, but just a couple few hundred here in Florida. And many of us are sole proprietors, sole individual owners with small cases. I've been in business now for 19 years in this area, one of the most long-standing care management agencies in this area. So I've grown, and I have a great team now of nurses and social workers that help work with our cases, getting everybody's knowledge and input in the case. But I think the biggest misunderstanding is they think we're home care. Automatically.
Oh, really?
I'll walk into a doctor's office, or I'll walk into an assisted living or an independent living community, and right away they assume we're home care. And so my challenge is to explain the difference. We are not home care providers. We're not caregiver providers. We are, well, I think I'm jumping the gun here and taking over.
That's
It's
fine.
like, I don't know if
That's fine.
But an aging life care professional usually comes with extensive knowledge and experience in social work, counseling, gerontology, public health, nursing. And what the aging life care professional does in a nutshell is assess needs, coordinate the appropriate mix of services to meet their needs and their budget. And most importantly, my love and my passion is oversee and monitor those services that are put in place, whether they're at home, in assisted living, skilled nursing, hospital, rehab. It doesn't matter, because we do not take Medicare or Medicaid. We can oversee and advocate for our clients across that continuum of care.
Yeah.
And that's my passion, my love, is to be able to do that.
And it's so important because the caregiver is so overwhelmed, emotionally, physically. They don't even know. I can remember one time a woman came into one of the support groups. It was the first time she was there, and her husband had been diagnosed with Parkinson's, and she was just miserable. And she was weeping, and she says what caregivers say all the time is, my life wasn't supposed to be this way. This is not what we're supposed to be doing. Well, this woman had nothing in order. Nothing. And I said to her, can I send in the troops? And she said, what? Now, if I said to her, go to my website, there's good resources on there, or here's somebody's card, you can call them, that wasn't going to happen. Can I send in the troops? And she said, okay. So I contacted some people I felt that she needed to hook up with. And she came back to the support group like 2 months later, and she said, I'm not crying anymore. So she met with an elder care attorney, and she got her paperwork done, and she met with a home health care company, and she got long-term health care insurance for herself.
Good planning.
So I think it's similar to what you're doing, is pulling all those resources together for them after you have the opportunity to really assess the situation.
The assessment is
that's
key.
important.
Yeah, the assessment is key, especially a lot of times families will come to us, and most of the time, 9 times out of 10, it's the families that seek us out and find us and hire us on, not the aging person so much. They're needing that support. They're needing guidance. And I use the analogy of, think of an aging life care professional the way you do an attorney or an accountant. We're not the ones there every day providing the hands-on caregiving.
Right.
You seek our advice in navigating you through the healthcare system, the way you seek the advice of an attorney for legal issues, or an accountant for tax code issues. You don't have necessarily that knowledge at hand, and if you do, you're spinning your wheels trying to figure it all out.
In your spare time.
Right. And so an aging life care professional can put all those pieces of the puzzle together, from the resources. A dear friend of mine and yours, Sue Duhamel, if I can say her name, years ago, she coined the phrase, oh, Lory, you're like an air traffic controller. I'm like, talk to me about that. And she goes, well, you have all the planes in the air. You have, of course, the family, the good, willing, and hearted neighbors. You have clergy, you have home care, you have the doctors, you have all the people that are involved in that person's care. And they're all focused on what they're doing, what they do best. And that's their job. But who's putting them all together,
Right.
making sure they're communicating with one another accurately, that they're not missing things or they're